What's up, ya booshes? Welcome to 1048, the evening swole. I told you I was coming in the evening today. A little ball sack, a little up to the taint. On a Wednesday, bish. What's up, my peeps? What's up, hoes? What's up, Sean? Getting in there first. I like it. Get in there. Get it in there. Get it in. Yeah, boosh. What's up, what's up, what's up? How do you guys like this evening swole? Exciting, right? Exciting. Those of you that can't watch it normally earlier, you're in.
Running through stores, if I see it, I rock it. Yo, girl, if you see it, I got it. Run it up more, we need
got those random swole casts coming in.
Summer 16. Spent that whole bag on a whole summer dream. Life's complicated, no Avril Lavigne. Copped a new condo to blow us some steam.
Hey, from Connecticut.
Pushing that product, just got a new shipment. Pushing that roll for D over the limit. Cushion that blow, I don't get.
Thanks, Melinda. I appreciate it. Leilani, what's up, Papa Swole? I read your book and I'm pumped now, but I'm also a total noob, so we'll see how this goes. Just one day at a time. One day at a time, man. One day at a time, fam.
That guy will just show me the way. Changing the game, got the source code, and I'm off road, and my horses go skirt. One in the same day, of course, no, we in first, yo, all my niggas, we were. Fake in the fame, but we all know, cause the source told all you niggas just learn. Talking the same, y'all pseudo, and it's true though, y'all just popping them perks. Taking the stage, got a few shows like the
Alright, everyone's coming in. What? What's up, Jacqueline? Nicoletta, David, Kelly, hello. Oh, we live. Oh, we're on that stream piece, aren't we? We're streaming hard. That's a hard stream. That's a hard stream. Yeah. I cop it. Started waking up at 3:30 a.m. Zach, you're a fucking beast. What time do you go to sleep, dude? I like that. I think that's a great time to get up if you can. Shit. I went to sleep at like 5:30 last night. In the morning. Way too late. I had to drop some nuts on a chin though. It was important. Nice. Michael Bay. Oh, you're not in Guam now. Good man. It's all good. All right, fam. Here we go. Let's get into the episode. My phone is going off like crazy since I follow you on pretty much everything. I'm posting on everything all the fucking time. I probably produce like more content than like 99% of people on anywhere. Plus another podcast too, so I'll talk about that before we get in. All right, here we go. Episode 1048. Yeah, fitness without the bullshit.
The sun is shining.
The birds are chirping. The bacon is sizzling. Sizzling. Sizzalicious. Testing, testicles. Testing, testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 1048 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gangcast, mancast, pimpcast, sleevescast, and the slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex. We all flex our biceps. If you are a gorilla, from my freaking rillas out there, what up, beaches? What's going on? It's Papa Swolio, and we're here for another episode. Is 1048 of the Sleeves. Thanks for joining me live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. I am here to drop some knowledge cock on you, and I hope you're ready to swallow it all. Yeah. So you can subscribe. If you're new to the podcast, remember, you can subscribe everywhere: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you like to get your ears raped by amazing shit. You can check out all the links at swolenormousx.com. You can check out the Daily Swole Club. You can check out memberships. You can check out Swolenormous apparel. You can check out the blog. You have a lot of things you can check out, and you can check that all out at swolenormousx.com. I love that, Sean. I love it when people are like, hey, I was just listening to the podcast, but now I'm getting a live podcast. We're just every fucking day. So I know, do any of you get stressed out? You're like, shit, I'm falling behind. I got to catch up. I hear you. I hear you. The most important thing is I'm here when you need it. I'm here when you need it. If you don't need it, that's cool. It's okay. It's okay if you miss an episode, but then once you start falling behind, it's going to pile up quick because you know I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping. The gain train stops for no man and no woman. I don't care what gender you assign yourself to. We're not stopping for you. I don't stop for anyone. I don't care what you got downstairs or upstairs, inside, outside. I don't care what color you are. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what your religion is. I'm fucking leaving you in the dust. Fucking keep up or shut up. Get on the train. Get on the train and ride. Let's take some comments before we get into today's episode. How much is too much? We're going to talk, just so you know, you can start asking questions. We can kind of keep this a little bit more conversational. We're going to talk about training in terms of frequency. We're going to talk about training when you're soreness, how much is too much, like what is overtraining, what can be signs of overtraining, what can be considered too much. I've been getting a few questions about program design, so I figured that was kind of like that's like the trending thing that we got going on in the comment section in my DMs. So if you have any questions about that, that is the topic. So let's try to keep it as contextual as possible. And of course, let's talk about the pink elephant in the room, the latest YouTube drop. So Brittany Dawn spoke again and Papa Swole clapped back. So that's about as much as I'm going to say about it. There's a new video on my YouTube channel and you can go check it out at your leisure. It's a good one. I hope it's my last one. I don't have any intent on necessarily, I'm not planning. I didn't plan to make this one either. I don't plan to make the next one, but I'm sure something will come up that will draw my attention or that will need to be talked about if it's something new. And I'm leaving it open, but it's going to be hard to top this last one. There's nothing else I have to say unless there's like really some breaking news. There's really nothing else. There's nothing else to be said. There's nothing else for me to talk about except just beating a dead horse, really. I mean, especially after this last video, I just kind of covered it. That's just a response. Part of me feels like she's going to respond. I don't think that'd be wise. If she has a customer service team, they should be like, no, just stay away. Stay away. I don't know if she thought I was going to make a video about it because she left the name out. And I don't think there was any doubt that she was talking about me. I mean, but hey, it's possible. Maybe she was looking at someone else, but she knows my content. She's tagged me. She's had me in her fucking sites. It's cool. It's cool. The YouTube was amazing. Perfecto. It was great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh yeah. Key to your castle. So Sean, yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I want to make this more, I want to bring the audio experience more into the mainstream, so to speak, because I think a lot of people don't know about this, or they might actually trip upon the audio experience when they're looking for the Daily Swole. So for those that don't know, I do have another podcast, which as much content as I create, yes, I actually have two podcasts. So the other one, the Swolenormous audio experience, is literally raw content. Literally, I record it on my phone more often than not, but I'll do coaching calls or I'll do one-on-ones or conversations with me and other people, Q&A sometimes. You know, I played around with some different ideas, but usually it's just kind of like the thought in the moment. It's like an audio Twitter in the sense that I just kind of like have a post. I have something I want to talk about, one topic, one thing, one concept, and I usually lay it down. Usually it's about, 5 to 10, 15 minutes, but it's a full podcast. So you can check it out. It's available everywhere. It's available everywhere. No joke. It's available everywhere. I don't know if there's a place that you can't find this Swolenormous audio experience. So if you're not yet subscribed and you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, it's everywhere. So Swolenormous audio experience. So yes, Papa Swole has dos podcastios. I have two podcasts. Dos podcastios. What do you call a podcast in Spanish? Un podcast. A podcast? Un podcastio. I'm going to call it a podcastio. That's such an insult to anyone that speaks Spanish. I know, because I speak it decently, but podcastio. El podcast. It's probably El podcast or something ridiculous. Anyway, any Latinas or Latinos can chime in. El podcastio. Just insulting an entire race of people with that. It's all good, though. A lot like a day in the life of Papa Swole. What I used to do, I tried doing some audio vlogging a little bit. I was recording throughout the day. It was just it wasn't too taxing. It was just too much to remember because I'm always recording stuff. There's so many places to record. It's either I'm doing an Instagram story and Snapchat and I got to do it twice and then I got to do it on the audio. It's like, what, I'm going to fucking record the same thing 8 times. It just becomes a little bit too much in some cases, but I really like just kind of, I want to be inspired to do it. So when there's something I want to say, boom, I drop it in there. So I really think that if you like this content, this is more long form, especially if you want little snippets. Maybe you don't have time to listen to an hour podcast or a 45-minute podcast. Maybe you don't like this format. I think you all do, but this is great because we interact. I get to answer questions live and all this stuff. But the audio experience is very, very like little snippets, like a little snack. You want to pop a Swole snack? You want to chew on a little bit? You want a little bit? You want a piece of gum? Go check out the audio experience. But there's going to be a lot of different stuff too. I want to do a lot of the interviews and things on the audio experience because that's a popular podcast. That thing pulls in views too. It listens, I mean, views. I guess you could, well, if you stare at your phone while you're listening, that'd be kind of weird, right? You can say audio en vivo. Oh, live audio. That's true. Do you don't really know a word of Spanish for podcast? Maybe there isn't. Maybe did I call that out? Did I call out Spanish? Let's see. Sad, savage, Spartan. Well, that sounds sad, savage, Spartan. Why are you sad? How can you be sad and savage at the same time? You're like crying as you're just slaying bodies. Is there a good or bad way to start an elimination diet, or should one kind of eliminate random food groups to start? Well, I mean, an elimination diet is literally what are you eliminating? So it depends on what you're actually cutting out. I'll just answer that quickly before we get into it, but let's keep it on program design for the rest of this podcast. Whatever you're eliminating is what you're eliminating, but there are major food groups that you should be eliminating first because they're more common as damaging to the body, right? Processed carbohydrates, things like legumes, dairy. All you're doing is you're cleaning the slate. You're cleaning or you're erasing the board, right? You're just leveling the playing field before you come back and test. So anyone that's actually thinking about doing an elimination diet, it's not scary. It's not scary. It's not the end of the world. It's not, oh my God, I'm eliminating. There's nothing. Oh, I can't eat my favorite things anymore. Well, if your favorite thing is destroying your body and giving you fucking violent diarrhea and migraines and joint pain and sluggishness, it's not going to be your favorite food anymore. It's going to be something that you try to avoid because you don't feel good when you consume it. What the elimination diet does is it helps you reset your body and reconnect with how your body actually responds to the foods you're consuming. So it's not something bad. It's a method of testing. You get rid of these foods for 4, 6, 8 weeks, right? The longer, the better. And then you slowly implement one at a time and you test it and you see how your body reacts. You eat that, you implement it back into your diet for a day or two, and then you observe for a day or two, right? And that's just the process. It just takes time and some patience. And you do have to be on top of it because you can't be snacking on the food you're eliminating while you're on the elimination. You got to cut it out. And the more you cut out, the better you can test. If you just get rid of bread, but you're still eating pasta and dairy and all these other things, you're not going to be able to really see what's going on because you might be having effects from all these other foods as well. So if you clean the slate more, the more you can have a control. And those of you that have ever done like chemistry or science, you know what a control is. The more you can normalize the test, the better you can get the results and the better you can track what's actually going on, which is most important. You're learning about your body. I'm pretty sure it's just podcast in Spanish, but with an accent. Podcast. El Podcast. We'll call it El Podcast. Welcome to El Podcast. I'll start streaming this on like Telemundo. El Podcast. El Daily Swole. El Swole del Dia. Whatever. I honestly might go back to that. I felt better on the elimination diet. Well, the elimination diet is not something that you can't do all the time. Like anyone's diet should be eliminating things that aren't good for your body. So technically, if you're eating foods that you know are good for your body, you're technically eliminating everything else that you don't consume. Like I am technically, I guess, on an elimination, but I don't eat processed carbohydrates. I don't consume sugary foods, just fake foods. I don't drink soda. So those things are constantly eliminated. So you can really look at this a different way. If you're actually saying, okay, the process of doing an elimination, yes, there would be a standard approach of like, okay, I'm cutting out all these things. This is how to do it optimally. However, for each individual, it depends on what you're currently eating and what your issues are. Everyone can kind of customize it a little bit. So it doesn't have to look the same from everyone. Tommy Mays, my wife from Honduras, she said it's archivo de audio gratuito. That's a terrible translation of podcast. Archivo de audio gratuito. Fuck that. I'm just going to say podcast. All right. Anyone who speaks Spanish, from now on, you have to say podcast or el podcast. And if you really want to be fancy, like, the formal Spain Spanish, like Madrid, you can say el podcastio. I'm making it up. I'm planting my flag. I'm creating words in other languages because I said so. Welcome to social media. Welcome to fucking Swole Norm. Welcome to the daily fucking Swole. We just make up words in other languages. I'm just appropriating that. I'm an imperialistic American. I impose my will on other cultures because I said so. Why? Because I'm American. Because I'm an American. Yeah, that's what we do now. That's what happens. So there you go. There you go, Spain. You got a new word. Better Wikipedia that shit real fast. What's up? All right, let's see. Almond butter is good. All right, so we're cut nuts. We're talking about nutrition, beard routine. So let's remember, and I will actually clarify this before we get more into the topic. There's going to be a new episode of Ask Papa Swolio on YouTube. So if you have not yet seen the last episode, that's the brand new, I shouldn't say brand new, but I resurrected it with a whole new format. So go on that last video, the Ask Papa Swolio playlist, and you can drop your question in the comment section with the hashtag Ask Papa Swolio to be featured on an upcoming episode. There'll be another one dropping, I would have to say probably either Friday or Saturday. I'll be filming probably tomorrow for another episode, and we'll be banging out more of those because there's a lot of comments. And if you like someone else's comment, you like someone else's question, just go in there and hit the thumbs up so you can upvote their comment or their question. And that way you don't have to it'll grab my attention more when it's filtered in the comment section. But I think if you like the Q&A, you like the Sunday Funday Q&A is here on the Daily Swole, you'll like that on YouTube. So how much is too much? How often do you guys train? Does anyone here have anything? And you can start us off. You can start us off with your comments. I mean, I just want to talk about this subject. I don't necessarily want to start from scratch, but what are your concerns? And you can drop in the comments now. What are your concerns with training too much? The question that I get a lot, how much is too much? Should I train when I'm sore? Should I train today is chest day, but my chest is still sore from my last workout, whenever that is. How many days a week do you train? Do you find yourself confused whether or not you're overtraining? Do you believe that overtraining exists? Do you believe, what are your thoughts? What are your concerns? Do you have any questions on that subject? Because that's where we are for today's episode. So let's try to keep it on topic there. If you do have questions, you can save them. You can go post them on that YouTube video, or you can wait for this weekend for Sunday for the Sunday Funday Q&A news, and we'll go into that then too. We can start there, and we can do today as more like a Q&A, but on this topic, just keep it on topic. I'll ignore questions that are off topic. Sorry, but that's why. How do you feel about twice a day? Okay, that's a good question because when I drop a YouTube, not a YouTube, but an Instagram or Facebook post, and I say, what are you smashing today? And a lot of you always jump in, crushing my legs, arm day, chesticles, bro. And you drop some gorillas and it's fucking sweet. Gets everyone amped up, gets a lot of engagement. A lot of people are saying I'm doing this, I'm going back in the evening tonight. And I usually comment, if you notice this, I usually comment, well, why are you going twice when you can just do it better one time? I'm not a real huge fan of training twice a day. And what I mean by training twice a day, I know a lot of you do a cardio session and then you'll do a resistance session. How many of you are doing twice a day? I don't really like that. One, I don't have that much. I shouldn't say I don't have that much time. I just don't schedule it that way. That's not my desire. I don't like going twice. I don't like getting my stuff and going twice. If I do twice, and if any of you do twice, I really think if you're doing 2 workouts a day, you should be doing resistance one of those times, fine, or whatever else, like intensity, like whatever you're training that day. And the other time, in my opinion, should be yoga, should be mobility. I would still consider that training, quote, twice, right? You're doing an active recovery session. You're still doing work. And I think that's where there's a discrepancy for dudes and for anyone that doesn't practice yoga. They think of that as, oh, I'm not training. I'm not doing anything valuable. I'm not putting work in if I'm doing yoga. I'm not putting work in if I'm doing mobility. That could not be farther from the truth. If you are practicing yoga, you are absolutely moving forward. You are absolutely making progress. You are absolutely doing things that are essential for your progress. So it's not a day off if you do yoga on a Wednesday rather than doing legs. It's not, I guess, a passive or a loss of time for a workout if you're doing yoga and mobility instead of doing hardcore intensity. Most people that overtrain, it's not quite overtraining, it's under recovering. They're not doing enough active recovery. They're not doing enough yoga. They're not doing enough foam rolling. They're not doing enough self-care and active repair. I think most people, and the classic way is, okay, a rest day is I do nothing, that your body will just handle everything. But that's how you get super tight. That's how you keep that tension built up inside your body. You need to release it. You need to help your body repair. So let's get back, or let's start thinking about our recovery as the same approach as training. You're going to go to the gym to train, and you're going to be proactive. You're going to fucking attack your workout. You're going to design it properly. You're going to push yourself, progressive overload, to keep on doing more and do it better and do it better. Your recovery should be the same thing. You should be attacking your recovery by doing it consistently and trying to take it to the next level, or just be regular with it, whatever your recovery is. But treat your recovery just like your workouts. Treat your recovery just like your intense training, because that's proactive. It's not passive. Recovery is not passive. Recovery is active. It's engaging. It's not just sitting there on the couch watching Netflix and just your body does it. I mean, it will recover. It's going to repair, but it's going to lay down that framework and repair the tissue, and you're going to be fucking tight as a nun. Like, it's not a good move. Let's see here. Let's go back up. Let's scroll back up. Let me see what's on the YouTube. And yeah, you heard me. No way in hell I could lift 100% of my energy twice a day. No, for sure. I mean, if you're doing twice a day, look, if you're doing twice a day, you're a high level, in my opinion, it's a high level athlete, or you're a professional bodybuilder and you're taking anabolics, you're recovering a lot, you're taking in tons of calories. That's your job. The average person does not need to train twice a day. If anything, you need to be doing recovery on the second portion. England fan 09, I don't like to train twice a day, but it's just what works in my schedule. Agreed. Yoga is amazing, especially hot yoga. It strengthens and detoxes your body. Yoga is fantastic. Jolene, can you recommend a YouTube account or app or for beginner yoga? No, we have an entire yoga studio inside Swolenormous X, so shameless plug, but I always promote my own shit because I know the quality of it. I don't follow or track other people's products or classes. I mean, you can Google it, you can check out reviews or check out the comments below or see what people think. But I mean, as long as you start, you can do there, or you can message me. You can check out my site, swolenormousx.com, and check out the yoga studio there as well. But there's tons of stuff online too if you want it for free. Oh my God, Thor, it's a fucking legend. What up? Mimi, holy screen name. Mimi Vintaleglam Monroe. My goodness. You put your social in there too, and your address. Do you recommend using the sauna to relax the body after workout? I like it. I don't always have a chance to do it right after, but I worked out about an hour or two ago, and I'm going to go to the sauna probably after this episode, probably an hour or so. Halo Marie, once you start doing yoga consistently after pumping, it's hard not to want to do it every day. Agreed. Love the yoga in Swolenormous X. Thanks, Miss Jamal. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy it. More stuff coming, fam. Those of you that are Swolenormous X members, new stuff coming. Oh, that reminds me, because a lot of you watching are Swolenormous X members. Nutrition Masterclass live in the private Facebook group. It'll also be uploaded to the site, of course, for you members that might not catch it. It'll stay in the timeline in the private group, but Nutrition Masterclass tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. So those of you that are Swolenormous X members, just gonna plug that here because sometimes people don't check events and check emails, and I know how it goes. So the more I can let you all know what's going on, the better. I know most of the members follow the show. So tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. That's Thursday. Today is Wednesday. Okay, let's see. Bam, bam, bam. Sean, too much laundry if you train twice a day. Isn't it amazing how something so simple? It's like, no shit. You go through clothes like nuts. Bam, 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 bam. Let's see here. Do you think the sauna is very beneficial? I do. I feel so much better when I do it. I've never actually done it consistently, to be honest. I've never done it consistently, but they fixed the sauna where I'm at. So now I'm going almost pretty much every day, and I'm doing the way I do it, or the way I have been doing it. So it's one of those sauna. It's not infrared. It's just one of those with the rocks, and you heat it up and it gets hot as shit, but then you pour some water over it for some, increased heat. So it's not as good as an infrared because the infrared doesn't heat the air. So sometimes it's hard to breathe. Or it gets hotter just because of the moisture in the air, and just like it's dry too, but it's also just, it heats everything up around you as well, not just inside out. So what I do is usually 10 minutes in, 5 minutes out, 10 minutes in, 5 minutes out, and then maybe 5 to 10 minutes back in, depending on how I feel. I try to hydrate like crazy before, but if I feel a little dehydrated or just kind of exhausted, I don't push it. I don't go to the point where I'm just like really uncomfortable, but I'll do about 20 to 30 minutes. I just take a couple breaks here and there, but I go in there, I have a cheap pair of Bluetooth headphones. So I leave my phone outside and I go in, I listen to a podcast, or I do some stretching and just kind of close my eyes and breathe or something like that. Let's take some, I'm trying to find some more questions. I'm sorry. Let me see here. A ton of laundry. I do weights, then yoga. I go once for 2 to 3 hours on weekends. That's what I'll do. I'll weight train and later on yoga. Let's see. I can only train 30 minutes a day, kids and whatnot. What can I do to maximize my gains? I can only train 30 minutes a day, kids and whatnot. What can I do to maximize my gains? Train hard. Like 30 minutes a day. You have that 7 days a week. You're fine. You're fine. You might just have to focus on certain things every day because there's only so much you can do in 30 minutes. So your volume, if you're trying to get volume on certain things, I mean, if it's 30 minutes every day, then you can definitely do some type of a split where it's like upper, lower, like crush your upper body on a Monday for 30 minutes. You can crush your lower body plenty in 30 minutes. So you can do yoga in 30 minutes. 30 minutes is a lot. And I think everyone will understand, and I think everyone would agree, 30 minutes is plenty of time. It's all about management. Time management in the gym is something that we can talk about again. It'll come back up on a subject that people lose so much time in the gym, standing around, checking their phone, just warming up too long, wasting too much time between sets. If you really have some of the best workouts I've ever had is when I left little time on purpose. So if you have an obligation, you have to be out of the gym, let's say at 3:00, and you go and you're like, you know what? I'm not going to start until 2:15. You will bust your ass for 45 minutes because you have no choice. You're leaving at 3:00. But if you go to the gym, like, it's Saturday, I'm just going to go to the gym. You're going to fucking waste time. You're going to take longer time because a lot of you find your zen. You're not at work. You're not at home with the kids. It's your happy place. So you hang out and you're just dragging ass a little bit. You might not even realize it, but you're resting a little bit longer than you need to. You're hanging out a little bit more. You're doing more than you really need to. You're just spending time, right? Which you could use for doing active recovery or meal prepping or other things. So it's easy. It's easy to fall into that trap. It's easy. Makeup Queen, I needed to hear this. Good. Frank Di Pietrantonio. Good name. Di Pietrantonio. People kept telling me to do weight training in the morning and cardio at night. I don't have enough time before work to do 2 times a day. You don't have to do both. You don't have to do weight training in the morning or cardio at night or vice versa. You don't need twice a day. No one needs twice a day. You don't need twice a day. For pretty much every single person's goal, you don't need twice a day. You don't need to do it twice a day. So if you're frustrated because you think, fuck, I don't have time twice a day to work out, don't worry, you don't have to. You don't have to do it twice a day. It depends on what you're doing. As long as you're doing the right shit and you're focusing on doing it the right way and you're doing the best you can and you're doing your programming and you're doing it well one time, that's fine. look, there are a lot of people that do 2 shitty workouts a day, don't take care of their nutrition, their hydration, and blah, blah, blah. So what does 2 times a day do? It just wears you down more. And they're doing cardio, they're doing weights, but they're not doing yoga. They're not meditating. They're not balancing it out. And they're just wearing themselves down. They're just stressing their body out. Remember, when you train, your body is under stress. And when your body is under stress, whether it's mental or physical, stress hormones elevate. That's a response to the stress. And if your body is under stress and it's not getting balanced, it's not recovering properly, and you're not putting effort into the recovery, that's why recovery is so important. If you're not doing that and you're not focusing on that aspect of your training and your health, that's going to come back and bite you in the ass. That's when you're going to be feeling like overtraining, elevated heart rate. You're going to start getting sick more often. You're going to feel like you're not recovering fast enough. You're staying sore longer. You're going to lose interest in the gym. You're going to feel drained. You're going to have trouble sleeping. You're going to have loss of appetite or extra appetite. You're going to feel extra hungry. You're going to feel tired, sleepy, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of different signs potentially of overtraining or under recovering, however you want to speak. I use the term overtraining, but usually it's really under recovery because it depends on what your body is adapted for. You can increase your workload a ton. So it's really hard to say that there is. Some people don't believe in overtraining. It's kind of like what is overtraining? If you're under recovering, it's still overtraining just relative to the amount of recovery. The main concept you want to understand is that there is a balance of how hard you have to work and how hard you need to work to get the results you want. But there's also the counter. There's also the recovery aspect that can't be overlooked, because if you do, then you're going to go down that road of having negative side effects of not giving your body enough time to repair. So it's under recover relative to the overtraining is relative to how much you're recovering. So it depends on what you have to work on more. Either you have to drop the training or you have to up the recovery. And sometimes that might mean by dropping the training, but I think you know what I mean. It depends on what angle it depends on what side you're looking at, right? What team or what side of the tracks you're looking at this issue from, its perspective. Just started following you. Welcome. Welcome to everyone new. Can you share your playlist with us or what podcasts you listen to? I don't have a playlist. I don't have a podcast playlist. There's some good ones. Sam Harris has a good podcast. I mean, most of you probably listen to Joe Rogan's podcast. There's good stuff on there. There's little nuggets. Everyone's got a podcast. Everyone's got a podcast. Anyone that you read that has a book probably has a podcast. But you'll find good nuggets in a lot of places. Usually when you go on one podcast that you like, it'll suggest other ones too. I don't have a playlist. I don't get a chance to listen to it a lot, to listen to podcasts a lot. I really don't have a lot of time to. And I would love to listen while I work, because sometimes, I can double up. I'll listen while I work, but I'm editing, so I need to hear, so I can't listen to a podcast. It'll get me distracted. So sometimes I only get through a little bit of a podcast before I have to put it down. But how often do I do yoga? Not as much as I should. Even myself, I don't do as much as I want. I don't do as much as I should. It doesn't matter how much you do yoga. It just matters that you're consistent with it. So if you do it once a week or twice a week, as long as you're consistent with it. But I haven't done like a set flow in a while. I haven't done like 60 minutes of like yoga. I usually have to follow a class or I have to follow a video on Swolenormous X. I'll usually do one of the ones in our yoga studio. If I'm going to do an hour, I usually have to follow something. If I'm not recording it myself, like if I'm just going to do it, I find it hard to just release and do a flow constantly for that whole hour. I can do like 10, 15 minutes and do a little bit of flow and do some stretching, but actually full-blown yoga, I like to be led. I like to be told what to do. I like to not think. I like just to, follow the cues. That's how I work. So I've learned that over time. It's just, I'm not going to be able to I go outside to do yoga. I end up just kind of stretching and just doing some different poses, but I don't really do a full yoga flow. When I talk about yoga and practicing yoga, it's like more pushing yourself and trying to get into those deeper positions. And I like to follow. I like to follow a whole set thing. I find it easier. I like it better to zone out and just, follow instructions when it comes to that. I have my moments though. Everyone's different. How do you take your coffee? Bulletproof or black? I train Jody. I train one body part per day. Any thoughts on that? Yoga a few times a week. Yoga was a game changer for me. Love Swolga. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Swolga is my yoga. Swolga, the class that I teach. We got some more of that coming for those of you that are members too. One body part per day. What, like chest? You do like the classic, like the ultimate bro split? I don't like doing that anymore personally. I don't like doing that. For me, I don't like doing that anymore. I mean, if you're doing 2 resistance workouts a day, or if you're a professional bodybuilder, that might be something that's more appropriate, but it's a lot more functional to do more of like macro combinations, like push pull, do like chest and back, at least hit some larger areas. You know, chest and back is pretty much upper body. You're really hitting everything. If you're doing chest and back and push and pull upper body, chest and back is kind of another name for you're just doing upper body. That's really what it is. It's not like you're doing, hey, I'm doing chest and back, but I'm not doing shoulders, biceps, or triceps. Okay, maybe not isolated, but you're still using them a lot when you're doing chest and back. So, you know, I think you're better off doing, if you're going to train every day, if you're going to train like that as a female, I would recommend doing something like upper body, lower body. And I would recommend increasing the frequency. I would try it. Look, it's no matter what you do, it has to be something that you're going to do, you're going to adhere to, you're going to be consistent with. So I would recommend you doing something like upper body, lower body, increasing the frequency of how often you hit each of those body parts, but decrease the volume. So for example, if you're going to the gym and only doing chest, let's say you're doing 10 sets of chest or 15 sets total for chest. Maybe if you're doing upper body, you're only doing 3 or 4, but you're doing that 2 or 3 times a week. So you might be more stimulated by doing that because, okay, you're training more frequently, but you're also saving yourself some more time. You're getting some more exposure to those muscles. I usually like training body parts more than once a week. I don't like the feeling anymore. This is just my personal approach, and this is how I've been feeling. And I've been I've been very transparent with the Swolenormous audio experience. I've been discussing this. I have been feeling better by feeling a little bit sore. I don't like the feeling of being crippled anymore. I've done that I did that for years, training to the point where like I can't fucking stand up. I think everyone here understands that. You train to the point where you can't get off the toilet, or sitting down is like, fuck, I can't even take a shit without being in pain because of my legs. I know what that's like. I don't like that anymore. That's borderline macro trauma. That's borderline car accident. It's not good for your body long term, in my opinion. And I'm coming up on 36. I don't want to be destroying my body like that anymore. I feel like I have gotten through a lot of brutal workouts. I've been fortunate to be smart, to have good form, to focus on recovery, to find yoga when I did, to avoid major injury over this period of my life in which I've been crushing the gym. So now I'm focusing, and I'm appreciating, I'm respecting my body by decreasing the volume and how much I do in an individual workout. So I really started the last couple of weeks doing full-blown instinctual training. So when I go to the gym, I don't have necessarily, I'm doing lower body or upper body. I go and I warm up, and I feel what my body needs in the moment. If I need to do deadlifts, if I need to do squats, if I want to do high reps, if it's more of a leg day, I know that, okay, maybe today is more of a leg day, but it doesn't mean I won't throw some upper body in there. So I'm doing a little bit more. I don't want to say total body because every time I go, it's specific to certain things, but it's not necessarily, okay, I'm doing chest and back. I'm not doing chest and tris. I'm doing biceps. I'm going and doing arms. So today I did some more arm stuff. I did some kettlebell overhead pressing. I did some curls, and I did the fuck else? I did Papa Swole presses, but I also did some close stance, snatch grip, touch and go deadlifts. So I did those. I mean, I did like some kind of like a little bit more metabolic, a little bit more shorter rest, some supersets, but I did some total body shit in addition to some arm work because I wanted to get a couple isolation sets in there for curls and things like that, just for strength. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. So a lot of this stuff is going to be permeating, and I'm going to be explaining a lot more of this too for those of you that are in Swolenormous X, and be putting out like a lot more of these like cool total body, like little, I guess, more frequency, less volume type splits. So I'm tracking all of them and I'm putting them down on paper or on my phone rather. So those of you that are in Swolenormous X, you're going to see these popping up as kind of like mixed bag, like grab bag, because it's important to have a lot of variety with your training. But like I've been saying, and I've been saying this on the Swolenormous Audio Experience podcast, that there are different seasons. You're going to have different seasons of your life. And it's important to change with those seasons. And it's those people that refuse to change that end up getting hurt, if that makes sense. It's the people that, oh, I used to play football in college and they haven't been in the gym in 20 years and they go back and they're going to fucking load up the bench and try to bench what they used to do with the boys back when they were 24 fucking years old. And that's not how you should be training. It's a different season of your life. And just like if you live in a place where the seasons change in the summer, shorts and a t-shirt, right? Tank tops, you go into the beach. In the fall, you might wear a sweater, you might wear a turtleneck or a light jacket and pants, or maybe shorts depending on the weather. In the winter, you're bundled up, you got your coat on, right? You change your apparel for different seasons. You have to train your body for different seasons too. Not based on necessarily the weather. I mean, you can't go out. It's going to be harder to go outside and do some fucking training in the field if it's freezing and there's snow everywhere. However, you know what I mean? It's different seasons of your life. When you're 60 years old or 20 years old, your training has to be different. It absolutely has to be different. It doesn't mean you're not going to train hard when you're 50 or 60. It doesn't mean you're going to not train hard when you're 30 or 40. I mean, you're in the prime of your life. However, your approach, like my approach, I'm 35, 36. I'm going to be 36. I am not old by any means. I'm not saying that. However, I have been lifting hard and heavy for years. It's almost been 20 years of me crushing my body in the gym. That's a lot of wear over time. That's a lot of wear on these parts. And I'm aware, get it? I'm aware. That's a good pun. I'm aware that this is, there's an expiration date in terms of like what type of training that I'm doing. And right now I am working on that transitional period where I'm still training hard, but I'm building some other frameworks that's going to carry me through the rest of my life. That's going to ensure that I don't have a lot of the issues that I've encountered with geriatric clients in the past, and what I see, the pitfalls of people with grip strength and with stability and balance. Those are the things that really matter in your life as you go forward. So whereas when you're 20 and 30, I want abs. When you're 60, 70, 80, you don't want to be in a fucking wheelchair. You don't want to depend on someone to wipe your ass for you. You don't want to have trouble taking groceries out of the fucking car. I mean, these are functional things that you need to address now, not when it's too late, when you're at that point, because by the time you get there, it's too late. Everyone always waits until they need it. And then, well, training takes years. It takes a lot of time and trial and error. You better start figuring this shit out now. And if you could start doing this yoga and you could start doing this focus recovery and pay attention to these types of trainings and this, approach to your training, you're going to be in a great position in the future. Kayla, it makes it easier. I like it better than Monday being a specific thing, Wednesday being another specific thing. That's just too much work for my scheduling. It could be, let's see, I just rotate it as long as there's 2 days between working each body part. Then I take a recovery day as needed. If you're consistent, if you are training a certain way that's keeping you and allowing you to be consistent, that's a huge, 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 huge advantage. Simple consistency. If you like training one body part a day, look, you can read up everything people will say, well, that's not functional. That just makes you very, very one-sided, one-dimensional, blah, 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 blah. Fine. However, you're the one that's going to the gym and getting work done. If it fits you and you like it, it's your life. You do what you can. Understand that you might be leaving something on the shelf. You might be missing out on some important things of your training. If you're not doing yoga, if you're not doing some integrated movements, if you're not doing some type of cross training, you're going to be missing out on those things. However, it's important to be consistent. It's important to put that kind of effort in on a regular basis, because you're going to get, if you're consistent, you're going to see more results just on the simple fact of consistency. Thanks, dude. You're welcome. Jacob Billings, Papa Swole, giving great advice out there. Thanks for the motivation. You're welcome, dude. Not sure if anybody has asked you, what do you think about CrossFit? I made some funny videos about CrossFit. I tease CrossFit mostly for the blind nature of just their random programming. Of course, there are good boxes. I hate calling them boxes. Good gyms. I'm going to call them gyms. They don't deserve a fucking box. It's a fucking gym. Anyway, there are good trainers out there and there are bad ones. There are ones that do progressive stuff well, and there are ones that do it terrible. I think most of them are probably chronically overtrained. I think there's a very high injury rate. A lot of people will complain and be like, no, there's not a high injury rate. We're talking about reported injury, probably self-reported. It's very hard to track those types of things. So there's a lot of injuries in CrossFit, and you know this because people are fucking getting hurt all the time, and everyone knows it. So that's just some kind of denial. However, most people that go to these CrossFit things, they want community, right? That's why we're all here, right? We surround ourselves with people that inspire us, that keep us, engaged, that we want to hang out with. So CrossFit's very good for community. It's like a group exercise. It's group exercise, but with more free weights. So in terms of the competition, in terms of trying to hit those PRs, that's where it gets risky. That's where it might be a little bit overdone. However, there are some people that probably do it better than others. And some people that go too often, they do multiple classes a day and just push themselves and are weekend warriors and sit on the couch and then go to a CrossFit class and then try to do snatches for an hour and then run 6 miles. And there are always people that do things well, and there are always people that do things poorly. So any content that I've done where I rage on CrossFit or cross shit, and I have YouTube videos, that a lot of people get butthurt over it. It's for entertainment. Like, I don't care if you do CrossFit, but like anything else, there are people that do it better, much better than others. And, so, I mean, I don't do it personally. I don't think it's not something the risk is not worth the reward by any means, but there is definitely value for people that are doing things like police officers, firefighters, military. Obviously, when you have a lot of random chaos going on, that's something more appropriate for training, but you can easily do all those things on your own and work different modalities and work different ways and work different styles of training, work functional methods, do transverse plane, sagittal, frontal, do different, proprioceptive movements. And you can do that on your own. You don't have to do it in a CrossFit restricted time where like there's a clock ticking and people are jumping over the bar and jumping and fucking and flipping and sweating and fucking hurting themselves and scraping their fucking bodies on boxes. And you've all seen it. You've all seen the shit. There's that mentality that I'm a warrior and I'm going to go and do battle. It's like, I'm trying to train so I'm healthier, not like fucking myself up. It also depends if you're trying to compete with it. If you're trying to be in the CrossFit games, then it's like any other kind of sport. You're competing for high level output. And most of those people are taking shit illegally too. They like to say it's all natural bull fucking shit. Bullshit. Those people aren't taking sauce. It's already come out. People have been very transparent, like trainers that have implemented and coached people with anabolics in CrossFit. Anytime there's a lot of money on the line, like $250K and a lot of recognition and sponsorships, people are going to take shit. People are going to cheat and skirt the system for sure. That's just denial. Kim Wienels or Wienels? I don't know how to pronounce your name. I was at the hair salon yesterday and an elderly lady came in. She had 2 people helping her walk. She needed help to sit down. I immediately thought about what you said about getting old and needing help. Fuck yes. Frank, no way they're not. It's impossible to do what they do and not take something. Yeah, I mean, look, they'll do one of those Cliff drinks and they'll put on those leg suits, those leg sleeves that help massage their legs, right, and aid recovery. I'll tell you what, I have done one of those where you put the sleeves on and like it just pushes the blood and helps you recover. I remember I did that. I was sore as fuck after a leg workout. I did that. I felt the same fucking way. I was sore as shit. It didn't help a damn thing. I mean, I know they have like cryo ones. They have different ones. Look, I did it. And I didn't feel any better or any different whatsoever. No different. Felt absolutely no difference from doing those, from putting those leg things on. It doesn't mean it doesn't do something. I mean, it's still physical pressure. I mean, I'm sure it does help. I mean, it felt good, but I didn't feel recovered. I was fucking banged up still. Didn't feel any different. I agree. Look, any type of high level athlete performance is going to be impressive. And I'm not, professional bodybuilders that take anabolic steroids and they take it and they take growth. It's still impressive what they do. They still have to get to that point. Oh, that felt so good. Oh, I was holding that in. I didn't even realize I was holding it in. It was in there. I had to let it loose. Valerie, what are your thoughts on cross-training, weightlifting, and mixing in classical dance class, i.e. ballet? Reason I ask is the oppositional muscle use from classic weightlifting, squats and presses versus all using all the minor muscles to perform the dance moves. Can it be done safely? Tips? Sure. I mean, it's like yoga. However, you have to be making sure that you're not stiff and sore from weightlifting, which could affect, you could tweak something, because anytime you're lifting weights, you're building internal tension. So dancing and moving and twisting, like if your muscles are damaged and they're banged up and they're sore and recovering, and you're doing classical dance, for example, you might strain something because it's in the process of recovering. So as long as you program it right and you don't overdo it and you're not really, really fucking sore when you're doing that, sure, nothing wrong with that. You can have something that you enjoy doing. I mean, ballet is really good for your calves. You get up on those tippy toes, really helps get that super plantar flexion, get those calf muscles popping. I think everything can be done safely. It depends on what your goals are from that. Like, are you trying to get huge? Probably not. Are you trying to be like really push and take your dancing to the next level? Or are you just, hey, I'm lifting for health and I want to look good and I'm doing ballet because I enjoy it? Then yeah, just balance it out. It really depends on what you're trying to get out of it. If you want to be, really take your cycling to the next level, obviously you're going to have to focus on doing that to get better. But if you're doing things for enjoyment and for general health, then you can program it. You can do whatever. That's the beauty of fitness and life. You can do whatever you want. If that's the goal, you have so many options. You can customize things fucking inside out. Thank you. Hello from Canada. Ever been? I have not. I have not been north of the border. I have not been to Canada. Sean, they take steroids but still have to work out and eat perfectly, for sure. Besides protein, what other supplement do you take to help recover your muscles? I don't take, I eat food. I don't take protein powders. So besides protein, well, that's not for me personally. Any other supplements? I mean, look, there's some good things magnesium. I do like magnesium. I do like things like that. You can do things if you guys like bulletproof coffee, you can mix in like collagen protein or something like that in the morning. That's cool. Vitamin D, fish oil, those things are good. There's a lot of like the major supplements that everyone's fucking pushing all the time. BCAAs, protein powders, weight gainer shakes, fat boinas, all that fucking crap is usually just fucking garbage. It's just garbage. However, things like high quality fish oil or specific vitamins and minerals that you might be lacking or need extra of based on blood work and testing and things like that, or just trial and error, those things can be very valuable. So I love fish oil. Some people need vitamin D in their diet and things like that. So there's definitely some good things out there. However, as we all know, there's a lot of loose ends in the supplement industry. So you need to make sure that you're very careful about what you do take. You do your research and you don't just grab random shit. So fish oil usually doesn't claim, lose weight fast, does all this, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of these products, like high quality fish oil products, usually on the back, and a lot of them will have their lot number. They'll have like a serial number and I don't know what to call it, but anyway, like a number that will track where that fish oil came from, in the sense that a lot of times you can go to a website and you can look up your product and it will tell you. In other words, they test it regularly. They test their products for purity and clarity and, just quality assurance. And you can look up your serial number of your fish oil and it will show you like the actual test results, because it'll, relate to the lot number X, Y, and Z. So there's some out there that are very transparent with their testing, third-party testing and shit like that for quality assurance. Yeah, batch number, something like that. Because usually they go through, every time they'll do a batch, they'll run it through a test at the same time as they distribute it, because if they find out something, they can recall it or something like that. So Ramirez, is it best to focus on nutrition and then to take powders, meal prep, and cut out all the sugary? It's always good to focus on nutrition. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that means. And then to take powders, meal prep, and cut out if you're cutting out all the sugary foods and snacks, you're focusing on nutrition. It's absolutely essential to focus on nutrition. And you don't need to worry about all those powders, especially if you're not focusing on your nutrition yet. You absolutely should not be focusing on taking all those powders and shit. That is what we will end on. If you are, the best supplement for strength, consistency, sleep, and progressive overload, and fucking food. There is no best supplement. The best supplement is hard fucking work. And if you're already doing and putting in some hard fucking work, the best supplement for that is more hard fucking work. That's really what it comes down to. So the foundations have to be solid. If you're taking supplements, you're worried about the supplements, and you're not paying attention, you haven't locked down your nutrition, you're wasting your time and your money. You're pissing money down the fucking toilet if you don't have your nutrition on lock. So again, thank you so much everyone for all the support. If you haven't checked out my latest YouTube drop, go check it out and stay plugged in. Check out swolenormousx.com for links to everything that we offer, full-blown memberships, yoga studio, programs, nutrition, and more. You can also learn more about the Daily Swole Club to support the podcast and the YouTube content, kind of like our own little Patreon for donations and support. So that's the Daily Swole Club. You'll get private notifications for podcasts and priority access for questions, Q&A, and such like that. You could also see links on swolenormousx.com for apparel and all that stuff. Oh, just before you go, there's going to be brand new apparel release for this latest YouTube video. There's going to be some fire fucking stuff with a very limited campaign. So new styles, a new version for those Fuck Your Pink Drink shirts. There's going to be a new release and some new styles. So we're going to do some more pink drink shirts with a new logo, a new little tweak of version 2.0, and also some black styles. So that's going to be fucking cool. So check that out. New mugs and a couple other options I'm going to throw in there too. So we'll do a limited campaign for that. And I'll pick another cool charity to donate to for this next campaign. So thank you so much for joining for episode 1048. I will see you tomorrow for episode 1049 of the Most Muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleevescast, and Slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex. We all flex our biceps. Peace, McGee's. Deuce, Magoose. Your boy, Papa Swolio. Out.